volume, rate, FiO2, repeat. So think about it. Robbie, what do you want to change here?
Well, I want to ventilate the patient, but are you asking like what else, like what mode are we on? Like, do we know that yet, or?
Any of that right now.
Oh, okay.
Just based on what you see here.
Okay.
Is that oxygenation or a ventilation problem?
It's a ventilation problem.
Okay. So absent no other information, what would you change?
Again, on a vent or like?
Yeah, we're talking about
Okay.
vented ABGs now. So
Okay.
it's similar to the example we did earlier today.
Just
for purposes
so-
of this, we're all on vents.
The tidal volume.
Right. Tidal volume first. So just basic, if your CO2 is high and your patient is hypoventilating, it's volume first and then rate. If your tidal volume is out of range in this situation, like you've already raised the tidal volume, then you would go to rate. But otherwise, it's always volume first. If you still have room to move your volume, then you go to rate. So
So I have a question.
okay.
What if they set their rate really low where you know if you just bump bottom, that would solve?
That's a different, we're not doing those right now, so don't overthink it, okay? Okay, so look at this one. And Tommy, what do you want to do here?
Well, really love CO2, so I wanna.
When you look at an ABG, what should you decide first?
pH.
What was the first thing I asked over here?
Was it the oxygen levels?
Is it a ventilation or an oxygenation problem?
Or was
So
it the
that's what you should look at first when you look at your ABGs. So what's the problem here, ventilation or oxygenation?
oxygenation?
Okay, that's correct. So how could we fix that?
FiO2 percent
Or?
higher? What was that other one?
FiO2 or what? What's the other parameter?
Or the rate?
Mm-mm.
P?
Yes, P. So remember, ventilation problems, what two parameters can we change?
Respiratory volume.
Okay, BT or respiratory rate. If it's FiO2,
Oxygen.
sorry, oxygen, oxygenation, what are you gonna change? FiO2 or P. And if it's overventilation, we're still gonna mess with these two. It's either underventilated or overventilated, so I was just keeping it broad. So anything related to do with either over or underventilating is tidal volume or rate. Anything to do with oxygen is FiO2 or P, all right?
Why wouldn't that be overventilating? Why would that be oxygenation?
Because this is the driver here. If your patient is hypoxemic, they're hyperventilating because they're hypoxemic. So you have to fix the oxygen.
Okay.
But now what if I did this? 7.53, 28, 95. Then they're being overventilated, and so then you would fix the hyperventilation because my oxygen is not the problem.
Okay.
But if your patient is hypoxemic, they're hyperventilating because they're hypoxemic. If they're not hypoxemic, then we're overventilating them. That's why you have to look at what's happening. Robbie, go ahead.
So on the oxygenation, FiO2, that's in level of priority, right? Do that FiO2 first, then the PEEP?
But if you're going up,
Yeah.
and then once you're at the high levels,
Then you move to PEEP.
What's the 60?
once you're at 60, then you do peak.
Okay.
Yes. Okay, so that's just your basic. So we go up to 60%, right, on FaO2, and then we're at 60%, we go up to PEEP. We can keep going up on the PEEP until we have a problem with our blood pressure. Then coming down, we go down to below 60% and then bring our PEEP down, so it's the opposite.
No.
Hold on, I just have a question.
So on this first EVG, even though the PaO2 is low, it's a ventilation problem because the pH is low.
pH and CO2. So you have to remember, if you're not ventilating, you're not oxygenating. So if it's a under ventilation problem, you have to fix that because that should fix that. If that doesn't fix that, then you would look at fixing your oxygen.
So then that's considered a ventilation, not both?
Correct. Well,
Both.
yes, it is both, but it's a ventilation takes first precedence. If my patient is not ventilating, I always fix ventilation first, and then look at oxygen.
Because fixing ventilation fixes your oxygen.
In a perfect world, yes.
With PEEP, for some reason I remember you saying, I could be completely making this up in my head, that when you're doing PEEP, you increase it by 5 each time? Yeah,
Yep, that's the
that's
standard.
safe to do and
Yeah.
that's fine. Okay.
Yep, that's what we do.
Okay.
What if they only need a little bit? You know, like on one of the questions?
You could go to 3 if it made you happy.
Well,
If
like-
I wouldn't do less than that.
If we were saying
You could
like,
go, sometimes we only do 3.
well, I mean like to increase it, like, if they were at 5 and they needed only a little bit more.
So give them
oxygen.
8.
Okay, I
You
would
could go-
increase it to like 7.
Yeah.
Like,
This is kind of goofy, but we kind of go 5, 8, 10, 12, 15, 18, 20, or we just go in 5s.
okay.
So, don't ask me how we come up with our rhyme and reason, but if it's a significant, you can go in 5s. That's very common, but if you think you want to go a little less than that, you would do it kind of in that order. 3, then 2, then 3, then 2. Did you have another question, Robbie?
Nope.
Okay, so let's actually put some more numbers with this now, okay? No one shout anything out, because we want to give everybody a chance to work on it.
Miss Foss, can you go through some?
Of course we can. How do I do this? Is that better?
Yes.
not in your own.
Oh.
You have to get really good at these, because this is all over your boards. And they always follow the same rules. No secret, no magic, just learn the rules. Sim, you got, what do you wanna do with the first one?
Could we, well, since, could we increase the, title volume?
You could, is that the right answer? What'd you do? What did we just say?
Ventilation over oxygenation,
Okay, it's a ventilation problem, so what do you fix?
this CO2?
What's the first thing that you change?
Title volume or respiratory rate?
What's the first thing that you change? What did you already tell me?
The title volume.
Okay, so when I say, are you sure that's right? You say, yes, I am.
I wasn't sure.
Yes, you are sure.
I'm a clinical overthinker.
You can't be a clinical overthinker. Is this in her range? Is this in his range?
In the middle, yeah.
No, it's not.
It's right in the middle.
I think so.
No.
Title, it's 15 times their ideal body weight.
What?
15?
5 and 8.
Oh,
No,
it's 5 and 8, never mind.
I
Sorry,
did 6 and 8.
They
I did
must
6
have-
and 8.
Robbie,
So he's cool to go up to like 510 max. Is it okay to max him out before you start moving respiratory rate, or is it,
you might, but he's got
Okay.
plenty of room to move is my point.
yeah?
So you go up on volume, the end. So when I ask Sam if you are sure and if that's right, you should say, yes, I am. That is the correct answer. I want you to be confident.
Okay.
I multiplied it by 15.
Why?
I don't know. Title volume is 50, less than 50. I don't know.
I don't know either.
So in this situation right here, what would you move it up to if that was his tidal volume? Like what?
It's not
what would we
terrible.
move?
I would probably only go to 425. No, 425.
So like increments, you would go up.
450 cc's for
Okay.
every breath is a lot. If I had a substantial change to make, I might do that, but otherwise, I'm only going to 25.
Okay, so is that what you move in, about 25?
25 to 50,
Okay.
not more than that.
Okay.
Everybody good here?
I have a stupid question.
No,
How do
you
you,
don't have a stupid question. Not
how
a
do you
question.
know, like, what to move it up based off certain people? Like, how are you using, like, he said multiply 15, I know that's not right, but what's the proper rate?
What's the tidal volume range? How do you figure it out?
That's what I'm forgetting.
5 to 8.
It's 5 to 8.
5 to 8.
So you do the ideal body weight?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so that's the 5 to 8, that's what I was forgetting, okay. I got it.
Can you explain that
Thank you.
again a little bit louder?
Yeah, so you get the ideal body weight, remember the range between 5 to 8 milliliters per kilogram of body weight? So if you get the ideal body weight is 63.8, times it by 5, that would give you 393,
The minimum and max.
and then 8
And you
is
can even
510.
use 60, you guys. Make your life easy. 6
That
times
was-
5 is 300.
So then that's how you figure
6
out the
times 8
range.
is 480. We've still got plenty of room. You just want to see that you're not out of range. So if your tidal volume, let's say my tidal volume was at 500 here, I wouldn't have any room to move my tidal volume, so I would have to change my rate instead. That's all we were looking at. I can tell you guys, if your tidal volumes for almost everybody are between 350 and the high 400s, you're fine. You have room to go, especially if you're in the middle of there.
So, just to repeat what you said, if the patient's in within range, then we can still bump them, we can still titrate.
Yes,
But if they're over the range, then we have to change something else,
Mhm.
like the,
or at the
That's the
top end of
target.
the range.
okay.
Okay, so, Chelsea.
Okay, so that was an oxygenation issue, right?
Mhm.
And so I would increase the FiO2 to 60%. Right? I thought I would increase it all the way to the max, and then if that doesn't work, then
There's one thing that's different about this ABG that's from the other ones. What is my PaO2?
42. Oh, wait,
The
where am I?
SQ.
So if my PO2 is in the low 40s, what do I have to do instead?
So this is 100.
100%, yep. This is where you have to be careful. This is really, really close to life-threatening. You gotta bump it up to 100%. Figure it out, and then you can titrate the O2 back down once the patient gets stabilized.
So the first set of ABGs, what's more important, the 58 or the 89? The 58 is more important, right? Than the SPO2 at 89%?
They're both important. Why is one more important than the other? What's more important that it's a ventilation problem and not an oxygenation problem. That's why we're fixing ventilation first. Yes?
Isn't there an oxygenation problem in the first one too?
Yes.
Right, ventilation over oxygenation.
Correct.
But then the second one also has ventilation and oxygenation.
No, this is not a ventilation problem. This is, what, you're over-ventilating.
35 to 45 is hard.
It's, yeah, but remember, you only have a ventilation problem if your CO2 is high.
But it says if hyperventilating, like low, oh, okay, that's, I guess.
That's hyperventilating. So it's too much ventilation. They're hyperventilating because they're hypoxemic. So you have to fix the oxygen
But
there.
it's saying like if it's low CO2 and high pH, then you're decreasing the respiratory rate and stuff.
Unless you're hypoxemic. Then you have to, the issue is, that would be with a normal PaO2.
So if you're hyperventilating with normal PO2.
Yeah, so let's make this 82.
So if that
Now
was
you could